In this video, we're going to show you how to make multiple PLC programs in an RTU 32M from Brodersen. So it will be quad-core PLC programs. That means 4 independent PLC programs running simultaneously. Enjoy! Hi there, and welcome to Brodersen. Today's topic is multi-programmable area. What does that mean and what is it? That's what we're going to go through today. So multi-programmable area is another fancy word for saying you have 4 different PLC programs running independently of each other in the same CPU. So you've got one CPU, but actually you've got 4 PLCs. So the downside is if your CPU dies, you lose all 4 programs naturally. But the upside or the good side is that instead of having 4 different PLCs, you save a lot of money in having it in one. The complexity is also more simple by having it in one. So let me give an example of what you could use it for. An example could be you have 4 different machines and you want to be able to run them and program them without stopping them all at the same time. So now you can, with a quad-core PLC engine, a multi-programmable area, you can actually program machine number 3 with new stuff without stopping machine 4, 2 and 1. So that's the plus side of it. Where you also could use it is if you're having this, let's just say you've got one plant, and in the one PLC program you could have regular data, it could be flow meters or it could be energy data which you would like to keep and not necessarily override. You could put it in the retain variables and stuff like that, but you would like that to continue running regardless of your program, one of the other programs. You could have 60-150 in one of the tasks, you could have Modbus in the second task, or you could mix and match whatever you do. But the whole thing is that you could program, update, add logic without stopping the rest of them. And there's nothing to do with hot restart, cold restart, and all the other things, but you also can do. This is it when you want to add massive changes. You can't do it in online changes. Online changes, there you have reserved X amount of space where you can do online changes. If you go beyond that, and it goes for all PLCs, if you go beyond that, then you need to make a restart of the logic engine. The same goes for ours, of course. But this one will not happen because you've got 4 different areas, so you can program them independently of each other. What I'll do now in this video, I'll make a program which you can download. We'll put a link to downloading it. So that means you're on the fly immediately. And there's some do's and don'ts, what you can do and what you should do in the video as well. One of the things I would like to highlight here immediately is, remember, when you're doing multiple programming areas, that is, you've got one CPU. It's easy to think that it is 4 different CPUs when you're sitting on the drawing board. So that means the hardware is still connected to the same CPU. So no matter how you twist and turn it, you only got one set of hardware and you only got one CPU. So it is also a matter of saying how fast should my cycles be. So do I want the first cycle to be 2 milliseconds, the next cycle to be 1 millisecond, and divide your load wisely. So maybe some tasks is not necessary that they run extreme fast, could be an energy meter or something like that, where other tasks they need to run very fast. Bear that in mind, watch the video and enjoy. The first thing you do is to go online on the web page at the RTU. Here's the IP address. Then you go under main settings and you scroll down and you enable multitask. The second thing you do is to go to Systems Overview. In there, you scroll down and make sure you have licensed the driver multitask. If you haven't got a license for it, as you can see here, some of these are not licensed at my. If you haven't got a license, then you go down here to licensing, put in your license key, press add, and that's it. You get the license key from sales@brodersen.com. Okay, that was the first step. Now we go over to the work suite. All right, before we start making the program the multi-programmable area, let's just take a little chat about the do's and don't. First of all, the IOs, which now you can see here. The IOs are located in main task. Don't try to put them in the other task, and if you do, make sure that you put it back to generic. Don't put any IO in other task. As it is here, you can see IOs is the whole thing happens in here in the CPU. So that means you only have one CPU, but that CPU can run 4 different PLC programs. But you still got one piece of hardware. Remember that. So don't try to distribute your IOs across, because it's still the same CPU. If you want to do that, buy more CPUs. Okay, that's the first step. And the most important step. The second thing is, when you make your task, make sure that you don't put them all to run as fast as possible. Take one, which is this is my preferred one. You can run as fast as possible, but why would you? So make sure you put down on a piece of paper what you want to achieve before you actually do it. So let's just say task 3 here, and let's go into the settings on that one. And I'll say the runtime. This one is set, triggered I could trigger this one every 5 milliseconds. That would be fine for this one. Well, I would say the first one here, the main task, I would like that one to be extreme fast. So let's just say this one is run as fast as possible. So don't go down here and say take microseconds or whatever. This one will make it as fast as possible, and that is fast. Okay, make sure you divide your load so you don't have them all run at the same instance. That is the first do's and don't. Now we're ready to make the first multi-programmable program. So let's make one. File, new project list, call it multi. Multi-XX. Type of program. We would like to make it with 4 tasks. All right. And destination folder. Let's just call it multi-program. Fine. That's it. It's just somewhere where you store your program. So it could be wherever. Now it generates the program. Yeah, it looks kind of all right. So we have main task, task 2, task 3, task 4. The first thing we want to do is add the IOs. Remember, as I told you before, the don'ts. Don't put IOs in the rest of them. Make one. Click here, use hours. That's it. And for easy sake here, I'm going to have a power supply and I have a relay module. That's all I have. So let's put in some variables. I'm going to set variables. Declare variables in database and set the offsets. That means it's auto-generated. And this one is a relay out, so I just call it relay out. You can fill around with your own types, so you can make your own syntax if you want to. That's it. And here we can see in the global variable, already done. And here we're going to do the same. Push that button, set offset, and this is a power supply, so I'll just call it PS. It's nice to have the power supply variables in so you can see load on the power supply and stuff like that. Since we have multiple programmable area, maybe we should have had an additional power supply in that we could have done like this. Then we could have made a new one and redundant power supply. We don't have that, not in this setup here. So let's continue. The next thing we have to do is put in some programs. So I will take the main task here and I will add insert new program, and I'm gonna call it machine 1 function block. Yeah, perfect. I'm gonna do the same here. Insert new program. That was. Yep. I'm not gonna make this one fancy, not at all. It's just to give an idea how it is. And I'm not going to put any of the advanced stuff in it. Function block, I'm not going to put any of that called every cycle, phase, periodically, yada yada yada. It's for another time. Super, now we've got some 4 empty programs. If we go under the machine here, then it's kind of like we have these global variables from the relays, and I would like to use those in the other programs. Right now, it's variable which I have here. So I would say the owner of this one is, as we can see, main task. So I'm going to take this one here and make it public. That will mean the first 4, I'm going to use those. So I'm going to click here. That means this one here is now available in my machine 2 program. So I'm going to public variables here. Now I can see these. If I created a new variable here in the machine 2, which I could do, just add variable and machine 2, just a boolean for ease, and we call that public. It will add it to, and you can see the owner of it here is task 2. So when I go up to my machine here, now I got this one here. So I can, depending on what I do, I can add them to the different programs. I don't want to share all of them, but the ones I need. I could just share all of them. That wouldn't mean anything, but sometimes you don't want to be able to mess around with important stuff. You could have regular data in task 4, 61 and 50, or Modbus or Ethernet IP in task 2. So what you actually do in this task here, if you want to, it is you could insert. I think it's easier to do this. Task 3 and do like this. And then you can insert a port in task 3. Yeah. And then you can select what driver you want to put in, and so on and so forth. But we have lots of videos on how to set up your drivers. It's the exactly same way. So I don't want to do that. The first thing I want to do is add a function block in this one here. And I'm gonna, I would like to have it as a blink. That's a blink. See, you can choose between all the different function blocks, and then click here. I'm gonna add this one here and this one here. I'm gonna add this true. That means it will where machine 1? Yeah. Oh no, I didn't do that. I don't want it as a variable. I just want it to be true. I just can't spell. I don't want to declare a variable. I just want it to be true. So it's always true. I think it is 2 hash 1 second, something like that. That should give me 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds this one will blink, and I want the first relay on the card to blink. Yep. Then I can simulate to see if it's all right. Oh, it didn't like that one, huh? And the good thing is it jumps straight to it. Better change it to T, yeah, like this. Let's just build all projects, see if we got any errors. Now, let's simulate it. Yeah, it looks fine. Over and out. Now I will just copy this one and put it in here. Yep. Put it in here. And put it in here. It's a normal shortcut keys, Control V, and then it's done. And this one is the last relay I have. Oh, let me just public variables. Good, damn it. This is the last relay. I'm going to drag that one in here. Come on. That's the last relay. And second to last relay. Oh, come on. Yep. And this one is... Now it is maybe not all of you fancy my ladder logic. So this one here, I will convert this one to ladder. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, it's probably fine. I never use ladder logic. And this one here, let's open it. This one here, we'll convert that program to structured text. That's kind of super cool. The last one here we could, if we wanted to, convert to instruction list. But who uses instruction list anymore? It's kind of like a older, simpler program. So I don't want to look at that. I'll take the function block here. Sorry guys. But it gives me a pretty good picture. This one here, since it's a constant here, I'll take this one. 3 seconds. This one here, I'm gonna take this 5 second. Yeah, you get the point. It's relatively simple to change the different stuff. What I could do now is I wanna download it all. In order to do so, you have to go in and make sure your communication parameters are set up. In this case, with a brand new product, so it's not. The default address is like this, and this is the port. So use that. And then the next thing is to download it. Since we've got 4 tasks, when I press the download button, then first it will compile it. And then we'll ask you, what task do you want to download? Since now this is the first time, so it doesn't really matter, and I'm not out at the plant, so I'm just gonna load it. And let's have a look at, yep, I can definitely hear some noise going on with the relays, and now I'm online, and I can see the relay is going on, and the same for the next one. Something is happening here as well. Task number 2. You know what? I'm gonna pause that for a little minute. And I stopped. And it's the same with the rest of them. So now you can stop and start and you can over here you can monitor your different variables. So yeah, the machine tool I never use. But anyway, over here you can also go and you can force them and lock them, and yeah, all the usual stuff. So that was the basic concept about multi-programmable areas. Remember, I'm just going offline again. If I want to make a change in this one here, let's just do that. Now I'm gonna, what should I add? I'm gonna gonna add the same. Oh. Copy, paste here, and put this one over here, and this one over here, and this one out to just a temp variable. Call it Johnny. Johnny is a good name. Joe with 2 O's. That looks cool. Declare new variable, where, machine 4, yeah, description, I don't want that, that's fine. So now it's just a local variable in this environment here. Anyway, let's go online with this one here. With the machine 4. It didn't like that. How could you do that? How could you put out? That's stupid. You cannot put a timer on an AND block. I should get my school money back. Now we're doing. Let's go online. Now it compiles it. Oh my god, it says bad version. What can I do? I can do 2 things. I could do it here, download, push this button here, and it will download to that one. So that's the one way of doing it. Or I could do like this. Push that button and I'll say, okay, I'll have updated task number 4. So just click this one here. So I only want to do task number 4. Yep. And we are all happy and set to go, and I can go online and look at my task number 4. Yep. Definitely looks good. Johnny is definitely online. So that's all I would say now for multi-programmable area. Have fun, make some very complex programs, and one thing, cool thing. While you're on the edge to go anyway, I might as well show you something very cool you can do. In this one here, we should insert a new item. What should it be? Let's go down here and look some cool graphics. Yeah, what should we call? XX. That's cool. Now we got a graphics called XX, and in this one here, I would take it's fine. No, I will share my power supply load. It gives you the load in percentage, so it's quite cool to have. That would be nice to have on your phone, because you can enable Wi-Fi and stuff like that on the RTU, and then you can just watch it on the phone. So I would take a scale. No, not a scale. I will take meters. Just a simple analog digit. No, that one here looks quite. No, that one. Fancy. Yep, fancy. That one here, and then let's just have a look at the. This one here, I think. The load. Here it is. And if I'm going online, might as well take the relays while we are at it and show you that as well. It's not that difficult shape, so I'm gonna take this one. It's probably fine. And I'm gonna say true is red. I don't like red. I'll take that one here, and this one is gray, like this. Okay, so this is relay number 1. It will be, at least, when I drag this one onto it. There are 2 ways of doing it. Now I dragged it on. I can here. Now I can see it's variable, simple as this. So I can just select it. But for me, it's easier to drag and drop. Then copy and paste it. Again. I think it's enough. Then I have relay number 2. Drag it on here. Relay number 3. Drag it on here. Relay number 4. Drag it on here. Let's go online and see how it looks like. Yep. Now we got this small graphical HMI, and I can say I'm using 11% of my power supply, depending on how many relays are open. If I turn on all these relays here, I probably could yank some, give it a bit more. Not much, but at least maybe I could go up to 14 if I'm lucky. Yeah. Good. So that's okay. What I would say here is that if I push this button here, then I can export the graphics. So now it's called XXX. Cool. So I can export that down to the RTU as well. Yep. HTML5 and SCADA and HMI, whatever you can put down on the CPU, it's an interesting topic, but it's not the topic for today. We have another video about doing that, so watch that and enjoy that. Over and out for now. See you soon. Remember, you can download the program for the video you just saw at Brodersen.com under support and download.